My name's Margarida. I have two children. The girls are Michelle and Tanya. My husband's Tony. Yeah, we pretty much, I think, a happy family. Been married for 26 years. I went for my mammogram in July last year, like I normally do every year. And they found a lump and said they weren't happy with the lump. And then they said they needed to do a biopsy, so I went for the biopsy the following week. And then they said it didn't look good, but it was clear. But they said rather come back sooner than later, so don't leave it another year. Come back in about 5 or 6 months. So I went in the January of 2012 now. And when the lady was examining me again, she found a second lump and said that they'd seen the previous one and now there was another one. And they didn't like the look of it either. So they said, we need to do a biopsy again. So I went for another biopsy again. By that time, I felt a bit worried, but I thought, it may be the same as last year. And then I waited about 4 days or so, and I phoned, and the gynae's room said they had the results, and the doctor needed to see me. So I immediately knew that there was something wrong, because when they said he has to speak to you personally, I knew it was cancer, and I felt numb. I was driving and I thought, oh no, this is like not even, a joke. And then, when I got to the gynae's rooms, he sat me down and he was very, like not very, like wanting to tell me. And he said, oh, the one last year, and he harped on the subject. And by the time he started telling me, but this one, it's not such good news, I packed out crying. I think with the shock. And then, he started talking to me, and I must be honest, when he spoke to me, it was like over the top of my head. I felt like I was distant. I was focusing on what he was saying, but at the same time, I was thinking of everything else in my mind, like who am I going to go see, where am I going to go, who's the best. And then all I remember saying to him is, can I go where I want to go? Because he'd given me a referral to someone. And I saw someone the Wednesday. And he explained in full, and he said to me, you need to have a mastectomy, preferably a double. He said, it is a bit of shocking news to say to you have both done. It's entirely up to you. It was quite a big operation. It was like a 5-hour op. And they brought the whole flap from the back to the front, my muscle from my back, into the front to close up my breast. And then, then I went for the second op now in May. And they removed the other one, but they just removed tissue and everything was clear there. And my glands were clear, which was also good news. And no chemo, no radiation, just medication for 5 years. So that's where I'm at the moment. I'm on, and they've basically, hospitalization, they pay everything. As far as the oncology part, they've given me like a 200,000 for the year for benefit, like over and above the savings. They don't give it to you, but they put it aside. So anything cancer related, they're taking it off that 200,000 benefit. I think where I would have maybe have come short is if I had to go for the extensive chemo like Dr. Frankel thought I would, because I would have had to have gone for like 8 months of it. And that probably would have maybe have exerted my funds. You know what, my mom's 78, she's going to be 79 next year, and her parents both had cancer. Like her mom had uterine cancer, but like when the kids were born, and she died when she was 84. It never ever, according to the doctor, that's what they said when she had her last child. And my grandfather was 86. And my mom's never been diagnosed. I got a phone call from Platinum about, I think, 5 or 7 years ago. I've had the plan for quite a while. And, the usual, they phone you for insurance and it's like, oh no, can't afford it. No, but it's only 78 Rand or 79 Rand. I said, you know what, it's not the money, I just don't think I'm interested. Oh, but, you never know. And if you don't use it, you'll benefit, when you're 65. And I'm a bit of a sucker for punishment. So my daughter always says, you can never say no to anybody. So I said, oh, you know what? Yeah, it sounds like a good deal. Let me take it. And forgot about the whole thing. Got a lovely package from, I think it was Justine, and it was delivered to work. When I found out the day I had the cancer, it didn't even cross my mind that I had this policy. And I don't know what happened. I was driving home, and then I got home, and I was sitting talking to Tony, and then over the weekend, I said to him, you know what? I said, I've got that cancer policy. And he said, oh yeah, you do. I phoned, and I can't remember who I spoke to, but I spoke to the claims department. And they said to me, look, your cover's now sitting on 280. You're going to need a form. We'll send it to you. And they did immediately. I mean, they were brilliant with the response. They sent me a form immediately, but they said it's going to take a process. You're going to need doctor's report. You're going to need to send lab report, you know, all of that, blood tests and stuff. So I said, okay. And then, yeah, I held on to the forms for a while, started getting, my GP had to write a report, you know, then I got something from Dr. Frankel. So it still took a process. I can't remember how long, but maybe into about 2-3 weeks of me being into this, I eventually got everything signed off and, yeah, and sent it through. And then I can't remember, I think it must have been about maybe another 2 weeks, because I had my op at the end of January. And I think, yeah, I think they paid me out, it was like in March sometime. So I think it must have taken maybe about a month or 5 weeks for the whole process from me to, you know, to you guys and then back to me. And yeah, and no oohs and ahs. And when you phoned me that day and you said you were sending me a gift, I was like, oh no. When I opened this box at work, I started crying, and they were like, oh my word. And we started taking all these things out, and they were like, no. And I said, can you believe it? It was like, and they said, it was just so like lady appropriate. Everything that you guys put into, you know, the effort was like, everything was just for me, you know. The slippers and the scarf and the beanie, and, you know, it was just, yeah. And I wore the lovely pajamas and the slippers when I went into hospital now in May. And they were like, oh my word. And then when you phoned me again and you said, you guys are offering that, they said, no. And I said, yeah, I don't know what to say. I said to them, they've just been wonderful. And I've never regretted the day I took the policy out. I've tried to well, invest it in a way, like, not that I can't use it because I was scared. I mean, I might still have to go for treatment. I've sort of put it aside where the interest will be better, but I've got access to the funds as well, you know, when I can. We're going to try and go on holiday in December. We want to go to Cape Town for a week. I said to my husband, I think we need it after the year we've had. And yeah, and trying to keep as much together as I can, because it's something that I don't know whether I'm going to need. My reconstruction is still a process. I know it's going to be a shortfall. You can only be positive and just be headstrong, you know. I said to them, and obviously have faith and pray and just, yeah, and just, you know, believe in God that you're going to be okay.